The story rocking Montecito today is one that few inside the elite polo world ever expected to hear, and it begins with a line that has already gone viral among insiders. Get a new wife. Those 4 words, reportedly delivered in private but now echoing loudly in public, are being linked to the sudden and dramatic cutting of Prince Harry from the Santa Barbara Polo Club, a place he once treated as both refuge and identity. At the center of the controversy stands Nacho Figueras, Harry's longtime friend and polo confidant, and the conduct allegations surrounding Meghan Markle that sources say finally pushed patience beyond its limit. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. According to multiple reports circulating among California's tight-knit polo circles, tensions had been building for months. Santa Barbara Polo Club is not just a sports venue, it is a sanctuary for discretion, old money rules, and a culture that prizes restraint over spectacle. Prince Harry was initially welcomed as a novelty but also as a genuine player with deep roots in the sport. His presence brought attention, sponsors, and curiosity. But insiders now claim that what followed was a steady erosion of goodwill, driven largely by what they describe as Meghan Markle's repeated breaches of club etiquette. Sources familiar with the situation say the problems were not about fame itself but about behavior. Polo clubs operate on unspoken rules, including privacy for members, respect for staff, and strict boundaries between social life and public branding. Several witnesses allege that Meghan treated club events as extensions of her personal platform, often pushing for visibility that clashed with the club's culture. There are claims of confrontations with staff, last-minute demands at private gatherings, and an atmosphere that some members described as hostile and unsettling. Nacho Figueras, widely known as one of the most respected figures in international polo, reportedly found himself in an impossible position. He has long been described as Harry's bridge into the elite polo world in California, advocating for him and smoothing over early concerns. But sources say Figueras also carries enormous influence within the club, and his priority has always been the integrity of the sport and its community. When complaints escalated, insiders say Nacho was among those asked to intervene directly. What makes this situation particularly explosive is the alleged language used during that intervention. According to accounts from people briefed on the exchange, Nacho delivered a blunt message to Harry, warning that his place at the club was no longer secure if the behavior continued. The phrase "get a new wife" has been attributed to that conversation, not as a literal instruction, but as a reflection of the frustration and disbelief felt by those who believed Meghan's conduct was damaging Harry's standing and reputation. Prince Harry's response, according to sources, was one of shock and anger. He reportedly viewed the criticism as an attack on his family rather than a professional concern. Friends say Harry defended Meghan fiercely, insisting that she was being unfairly targeted and misunderstood. However, club members tell a different story, claiming that the concerns had nothing to do with personal dislike and everything to do with maintaining the standards expected within their community. As the weeks passed, the situation reportedly worsened. Attendance at matches became tense, with members allegedly avoiding shared spaces when Harry and Meghan were present. Invitations to private dinners dwindled. Some insiders say the final straw came after a heated incident involving staff, where Meghan was accused of using language that left several employees in tears. While no official complaint has been made public, multiple sources claim the incident triggered an emergency meeting among senior club figures. It was during this meeting, insiders say, that the decision was effectively made to distance the club from Prince Harry. While polo clubs rarely issue formal expulsions, exclusion often comes quietly, through the withdrawal of invitations and access. Harry was reportedly informed that his participation would be paused indefinitely, a move widely interpreted as a polite but firm dismissal. Nacho Figueras, according to those familiar with the process, supported the decision despite the personal cost to his friendship with Harry. The fallout has been swift and damaging. Santa Barbara's polo scene is small, and word travels fast. Reports suggest that other clubs are now wary of associating with Harry, fearing similar disruptions. For a man who once described polo as his escape and emotional anchor, the loss is said to be deeply painful. Observers note that Harry's isolation in California appears to be growing, with fewer public allies willing to defend him openly. Public reaction has been equally intense. Critics of Meghan Markle argue that this episode confirms long-standing claims about her allegedly domineering behavior and inability to adapt to traditional institutions. Supporters, on the other hand, say the backlash reeks of elitism and misogyny, accusing the polo establishment of punishing a woman for refusing to conform. Social media has erupted with debates, memes, and speculation, further amplifying the controversy. Buckingham Palace has not commented on the situation, and neither has Meghan Markle. Prince Harry's representatives have reportedly dismissed the claims as exaggerated and malicious. However, the silence from Nacho Figueras has been telling. Known for his diplomacy, Nacho has not issued a denial, and sources say his quiet withdrawal from public association with Harry speaks louder than any statement. What makes this story resonate far beyond Polo is what it suggests about Harry's broader struggle since leaving royal life. Once protected by institutional structure, Harry now navigates elite spaces without the buffer of palace aides or centuries-old protocol. Insiders argue that his loyalty to Meghan, admirable as it may be, has come at a steep personal cost. The Polo Club incident is being viewed by some as a microcosm of a larger pattern, where doors quietly close and friendships fade. Industry observers also point out that California's elite circles operate on reputation more than rules. Being seen as disruptive or unpredictable can be career-ending socially, regardless of fame or titles. The alleged remark attributed to Nacho, "Get a new wife," has been interpreted by analysts not as cruelty but as a brutal acknowledgement of that reality. In these circles, behavior matters, and association is a choice. As the dust settles, questions remain about what comes next for Prince Harry. Will he retreat further from public sporting life, or attempt to rebuild his standing elsewhere? Will Meghan address the allegations directly, or continue to let speculation swirl? And perhaps most importantly, can Harry reconcile his fierce devotion to his family with the undeniable consequences he appears to be facing? For now, the Santa Barbara Polo Club controversy stands as another chapter in a saga that shows no sign of ending quietly. It is a story of clashing cultures, bruised egos, and the unforgiving nature of elite institutions when their boundaries are crossed. Whether this episode becomes a turning point or just another footnote depends on what choices are made next. If you want to stay informed on developments like this, where power, privilege, and personal